So, you ready to get this started?
I am ready to get this started. Let's do this. People listening to the latest third show with Dank Metal, me and Dank having a talk. People love it when us two trashy Midwestern guys sit and talk, just like when me and Brett, two trashy Midwestern guys, sit and talk.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't listened to it yet, but I always like to hear what Dank Metal has to say. He's had some interesting life experiences.
I mean, me and him, I just, it's weird because you look at like how you grew up and stuff, and you think it's like a really special experience, but there's people, you know, everywhere having that same thing happen, you know? So it's neat. It's fun. Listen to the third shows. They're good.
Before we get started here, I want to let you know this program, my portion of the program, is brought to you by the smooth, cold filtered flavor of Ivana Bitch menthol tobacco flavored vodka. Cheers to you and yours and all your kin as we try to avoid cabin fever in this cold, wintry day.
Just, yeah. I mean, we're not paid for it or anything, and Ivanovich is a real Russian family name from way back. They were a big family in vodka and cigarettes back then. So.
I think they're what are they? They're Denmark or something?
I don't know. I think they're trying to have a Russian name, though, right?
Ivana's is all. That's like a slang term in America for a Russian woman.
Sure, yeah. Ivana Trump is one of them.
Right.
So,
you
know what I've never listened to, ever?
Shit.
A podcast that I've never listened to.
Huey Lewis in the News, sports?
I have listened to that.
Oh, okay.
No, a podcast I've never listened to.
What's that?
Pod Save America.
Oh, really?
Sort of in our world, right? A little bit. Like, we created a world of disgusting people, and then a bunch of clean rich people came in and fucking made their own version.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, they cleaned
and now
up.
they make a bunch of money.
Yeah, now they're the darlings. They get a TV show.
They put an Izod shirt on my show, and then they went out and they got a goddamn TV show. It's disgusting.
I have to admit, I've never heard one before in my life either.
Yeah, no, I've never heard one, but Jack Allison posted something that made me want to check them out a little bit. Just a clip.
Sure.
So why don't we start the show listening to
a little bit
clip
of, okay.
This is more. He only cut 21 seconds out of this clip.
21.
He doesn't really listen to the show. He gets the clips.
21.
Yeah, free 21.
Free 21.
He gets the clips off their site. He doesn't actually listen to the show, and I'm never going to fucking listen to the show.
No, this is great.
But good Lord, there's so many people out there who definitely love this show and listen to this show. So I kind of feel like, let's get an idea. Here we go.
Whether it's like you said with Elizabeth Warren.
Wait, let me stop this damn thing. I'm going to stop this. So
okay.
What we're talking about here is we're in the Democratic primaries, Brad.
I
don't know if you know this. Bernie Sanders announced this week. We're in the beginning of them, which our time to shine, really. That's when the most listeners come to this type of radio, I think. Just judging by the last time.
No, I mean, I think I wait till they get disappointed, right?
Well, yeah, but even in the build-up, they like to hear people talk about, like, what's going on out there. And I learned something about Pod Save America this week.
What's that?
And it was off of one of their own tweets. And it was that they will not be endorsing a candidate.
Oh.
Until the primaries won, where they will then endorse the candidate. Because so whoever wins the primary versus Trump, you can't vote for fucking Trump.
So they're just announcing that they're blue no matter who.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird, because you do a political show. I'm not saying you got to endorse a fucking candidate. We ain't going to fucking endorse a candidate over here. You know, I'm not endorsing anybody. I don't know. Brett might find somebody that he likes. If Mike O'Malley gets in the race again, or whatever that guy's name was, you know, he's always Martin O'Malley gets back in.
Who? Yeah.
Remember him last year? He was like the other guy. It's like
my ideal candidate is that guy that turned water into gasoline and got killed by the government. So I don't know if we're going to get another one of those.
Yeah, if we got him, maybe. But we're not endorsing a candidate. But that's not because I'm a coward, right?
Okay.
Look, if you're going to go vote in this primary now, today, I will tell you who I would personally vote for. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not going to even tell you that now. I think it's obvious who I would vote for if I was going to vote, you know?
You're in it, man.
I'm into it. I love it, dude.
You do.
Think this part of it is so fun. So fun. It's all goofy shit. You know? It's all this shit that's so not important. First of all, not important. Second of all, not going to be important when it's over, right? None of this matters.
Right.
None of it.
Right.
It's all goofy. We're all just fucking goofing off now. And like these people, these Democrats though.
That lady that asked how to eat the chicken.
Right. Well, see, that's what we're going to get into here. These people are taking it so seriously, like this is life and death.
Yeah.
You know? And here's them talking about how we should be acting right now.
Again, with
I have a really whistly vape cartridge right now, so that's what that sound is.
You mad about chicken?
This
Street Fight ASMR.
She was eating them while they were alive.
Oh, that's funny.
Dental.
I can't hear it. Oh, I can't hear it. Are you
whatever.
playing
What I said,
something?
John?
Oh,
she say?
shit.
Can you start it over?
Yeah, I was. I can start it over.
Let him hear it again.
All
Let's
right.
chop and screw that. And
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right, here we go. This is how we're supposed to deal with this is how Pod Save America talks about the primaries. Okay, here we go.
Whether it's like you said with Elizabeth Warren's rollout, whether it was over the weekend with, someone complained about Gillibrand, the way she was eating chicken.
That doesn't matter.
This Kamala Harris thing.
She was eating them while they were alive.
the Beto O'Rourke
This is my shit here.
dental cleaning thing, whatever.
Did you hear what I said?
You said she was eating them while they were alive.
That's so embarrassing.
Sorry.
Did you hear what I said?
It's just like-
She was eating them while they were alive.
Fucking Donald Trump is president
Wait.
right now, and this is a race
Wait.
about whether he will
She was eating them while they were alive. Did you hear what I said? I said she was eating them while they were alive.
Yeah, that wasn't.
He told that joke 2 times and neither one of them were good. But he fucking was just like so mad. So like I'll do it. You do the joke, okay? And we're gonna do this. You do the joke. You just be like she was eating them while they were alive.
Okay.
And then I'll keep talking. You'll be like, did you hear what I say? So I'll be like, we can't be paying attention to how these people are eating chicken.
Yeah, she was eating them alive.
Yeah, we can't be paying attention to that
Did you
kind
hear what I
of
said,
stuff.
though?
No,
I said
yeah.
she was eating them alive.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
she was eating them alive. Fuck, okay,
Yeah, I
fine.
did. Hold on. Please acknowledge me. We've been doing this show for a lot of times, and you're wishy-washy about all these candidates. But why don't you just pick me as your co-host that you acknowledge and that you at least say you like? Do you want me around anymore, or am I just another thing in your little universe, John?
You hear what I says? You hear what I says over there? I says the Sopranos do that all the time too, which is really funny because Sopranos are written to be like losers.
Sure.
And that's like a joke that they love to do, where somebody will tell a joke and then they'll go to somebody else. You hear what I said to them? So that's embarrassing, first of all. But now they're saying like, let's not look. If she's eating chicken a weird fucking way, let's not talk about the way she's eating the chicken. Okay.
Understandable. I agree with them on that.
be president for 4 more fucking
no.
years.
Oh.
We cannot be talking about this fucking shit again
Why?
with the Democratic candidates every time they do something a little bit
Weird.
silly.
Weird.
No.
Not silly.
Well, it's
No.
It's no bad media. Bad
These
media.
guys
So mad. I
suck.
was
You
just like,
put that chicken down. That is not
Oh,
for
he's
you.
still
What are
with
we
the
fucking
chicken.
Put the
talking
chicken
about?
down. No.
Who cares what the fuck Kamala Harris was listening to while
Ba-
she was
ba- ba-
getting high? I
Don't
don't
look at me with those eyes.
He's still doing the chicken.
That chicken wasn't
He's
for you.
still doing the chicken. That guy can't get enough of the chicken. He went home to his wife and he was like, check it. I was on the show today. We talking about Kamala Harris eating chicken, and I said she was eating them alive.
It wasn't Kamala Harris.
Why, who knows? I don't know what the chicken even is, dude.
Oh, good. That Gillibrand lady was at a dinner, and,
Okay.
and like she was looking around at the table and felt uncomfortable using a fork and knife, so she asked if she could use her fingers, and it was just like, get down with it however the fuck you want, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like whatever. If you are comfortable with a fucking fork, then do that, right?
Right. She only eats food that is specifically told to you how to eat.
Right.
And everybody
She's
knows
like,
that.
I don't have a formal training on this. So I haven't had a fried chicken in ages.
I mean, that's the other thing he says. He says, like, we shouldn't be making fun of them if they do something silly. But the point to me is they're aliens. And it is funny when they do something weird. You know, when they just say something weird. Like this woman goes on the fucking radio and says, yes, I'm Jamaican, I smoke weed, which is also very weird. But she goes on the radio and says that she fucking smokes weed, and then they ask her what kind of music. The most reasonable question
that was a setup,
you could
though.
ever possibly ask somebody, by the way. Like, how is that question weird? You know? What were you listening to when you smoke weed? She just is saying she did it in college.
No, she didn't.
Because
Say,
she would
didn't
get
say
in
that.
trouble if she said she did it after college. You get what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying that was a setup. That thing was stupid.
What happened?
Charlemagne threw in a stupid comment and she laughed it off and then talked about the music that she liked.
Yeah.
So she didn't admit to anything that everybody was accusing her of doing.
Like saying that Tupac, she was listening
Right.
to Tupac.
She didn't
and
say
Snoop.
that.
No. Okay. Well, it wouldn't even fucking matter, dude. It wouldn't matter. I'm not saying that it matters. I'm saying that it's weird. Like, these people are weird, and they're like the bosses of it. They want to be the boss of us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We're allowed to talk about how fucking weird Donald Trump is. I want to talk about how weird these other people are.
True.
As soon as fucking Bernie Sanders does something weird, I'm going to jump all over him. He just hasn't done anything weird yet. At all. It's the people that are reacting to him announcing that he's running for president that are doing weird shit.
Yeah.
They're all going wild. Did you know Kamala Harris's dad got mad at her for saying that Jamaican stuff? That's like a little catch up from the show last week because we brought up how she said, you know, of course I'm Jamaican, and we thought that was weird. Her dad, like, you don't do that. Jamaicans don't just get high.
Yeah.
You know, come on. So her dad regulated that, which seems like you wouldn't want that to happen, but whatever. He's not doing any interviews or anything, which he's not like Malik Obama, which would kick ass if he was. I love that guy.
Yeah, he was great.
He was just like, he'd just show up during an election and just... my brother's going to run for office one day and I'm going to be the Malik Obama that shows up. Like Roger Clinton, that guy, who's just playing guitar and getting drunk. And I was like, God damn it.
Billy Carter.
It sucks to be a hillbilly and become president. That's what happens. You're a hillbilly. Well, the first ones were hillbillies. Malik Obama, I don't think he's even like grew up with Obama. It was just like a dude that was like kind of tangentially related to him somehow, like a half brother or some shit like that. And I love this stuff though. The early part of the primary is the funny part of the primary.
It's less grim.
Yeah, it's going to get grim as fuck. I mean, I did see a lot of people yesterday talking about like one journalist was commending one of the people, Klobuchar. I don't know how to say her name at all. I'll never learn it either because I hear it. You say it every time and I don't pick it up.
Right.
So there's something wrong with
I love
me,
your
obviously.
pronunciation.
Klobuchar.
Yep.
Klobacker.
Yep.
Where she was
That's it.
just like, they were asking her questions. So what do you think about like a Green New Deal? And she's like, no. They're like, what do you think about Medicare for all? And she's like, no. And they're like, what do you think about... And they just are naming all these different things that people would want. And she's like, we just can't do that now.
Yeah.
I'm like, who would vote for her? Why would I vote for you then? You don't feel like you can do anything. I don't think any of those things are going to happen. I'm not I want them
They're
to.
Democrats still. I mean, it's not surprising at all. I mean, it's the same thing. Once again, it's just like the Democrats to be like Democrats.
They're so depressing.
Yeah,
They're
they
the most
suck.
depressing people.
It sucks.
Out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of anybody more depressing than the Democrats. Like, they're the worst. Like, at least, and this is why, like, if I went into a primary right now, if I had to go vote in a primary, I probably would vote for Bernie Sanders because he's the only person saying anything's possible. You know, all these other people go out there and they don't say anything's, they can't tell you that anything's possible. Like, they refuse to tell you. And it just makes you feel like, well, you're not even gonna fucking try. If you tell me something's impossible that I'm trying to do, I'll fucking not try anymore. What's the point in fucking trying if it's impossible?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, they're hedging their bets, man. They want people that just want to keep shit the same, right?
Yeah. And it is smart. I guess it is sort of smart.
It's one of those stupid things that they always do where it just makes you seem more reasonable. Where
Yeah.
you're like, this person didn't agree to do the best thing for everybody. They're just going to mitigate their expectations and fuck them over.
That is kind of a tactic everywhere now, though, in the whole world, where it's like nothing's possible. Oh, you know what we'd like more than a water bottle with the logo of the company on it? A raise. Oh, we can't do the raise,
Right.
though. We get a good deal on these water bottles. That's why.
Right.
You know, everybody is managed into, like, I know that, like, my wife goes to work every year. There is a bonus at her job. And every year after they get the bonus, they get told this might be the last bonus ever.
Sure.
And that's the same thing. That's the Democrat, like, management style, is that their idea is, no, we'll
Like-
just tell them, like, there are, listen, this is how a Democrat is, right? This is their thing. Listen, I believe that everybody should have health care. I am against war. I don't like war. I hate war. You know what, Brett? I fucking hate war. I don't want to ever see a war again.
Yep.
You know? I think marijuana should be legal. None of that, I can't do it.
Right.
Like, I can't do any of that. It's impossible nearly.
Well, if I said I think marijuana should be legal, I'd never have a job.
Yeah. So now it's like we're voting on what you wish you say you wish you could do. And I think that's the thing that makes me fucking crazy about how we have to, like, that's how we're supposed to vote. That's how the Republicans voted for Trump, right? That's exactly how they voted for him. He was a guy that was saying, I'm going to do this, and that. And I mean, you know, the guy's trying to get this wall built any way that he possibly can. He's going to declare a national emergency to get the wall built. But it's just, he hasn't done shit for these people. Their fucking tax returns are lighter this year. They ain't even wondering why their tax returns are lighter, and every single big company has a news story in the past, like, week that they paid zero taxes on, like, whatever billions of dollars they made. Like, Netflix, a story came out about Netflix, a story came out about Amazon, like, all these places, these stories are coming out, they're not paying taxes, and on my Facebook feed, regular-ass motherfuckers are like, I ain't getting shit back for my refund this year. What's going on? I can fucking tell you what's going on. I think we all know what's going on. They're filtering that money to those fucking people. They're getting it. They always get it. They get all of it. You know? And it's because the Democrats just think, we believe we should tax the rich. Can't tax the rich, though. They'll all fucking leave.
Right. Right. There'll be no one left. There'll be no one left to boss us around.
Yeah.
Just get rid of all the bosses.
Yeah. We can't tax them because they'll leave. Fuck them. Leave then.
Yeah. We'll be
go.
fine without them.
Yeah. I don't need fucking Johnny Netflix here. I don't need him. The Netflix already runs. Fuck him. Go. Move. He's not moving. None of them are moving. What? Have some fucking, what is it? Confidence, America. What the hell's wrong with you? None of these people are fucking going anywhere. They love it here. You know? It's not like they're going to fucking pick up. Where are they going to move, dude? Where are they going to move that doesn't have taxes? Where? Where's this fucking magical place that they're all going to go to? Are they all going to fucking move to the Bahamas and never come here again? Really?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to fucking do? No, that shit ain't going to happen.
They're going to get a residency inside of their offshore account.
I know. They're going to go live on Sealand. That thing out in the middle of the ocean. They're not fucking going anywhere. Tax them. They can't do anything about it. That's the fucking amazing thing.
Right.
You have all the guns and everything. All the power. Just fucking tax them.
Right.
Who gives a shit? Anytime you ask me how are we going to pay for health care, fucking tax them motherfuckers.
Yeah,
And
get the
also,
money.
let's decimate this military, you know? Let's just make the military 25 Lonnies with guns.
Right.
You know? They'll fucking handle anything we need.
They'll do it pretty well. Shit, yeah.
Yeah. It's just unregulated militia. Just a bunch of guys out there. There's a bunch of guys saying they'd fight for America. Like 3% of
That's
us
true.
say they would fight for
That's
America.
true.
We don't even need to pay for it. Why are we paying for this thing?
We have an actual volunteer military. We'll just rely on them.
Those racist 3%ers will go out and fucking, I guess, take care of it for us. It's frustrating, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. If a fucking people came here on a boat or in an airplane and like some Red Dawn shit happened, I would fight. Like, I would probably fight them.
Sure.
Well, it's 50-50. I would either like join their side, which is maybe the 60% side.
Sure.
Whatever's the easiest way for me not to get killed. I
Yeah,
would do.
probably do that. Yeah, makes sense.
But if somebody
you wanna
said I'm
fight-
going to quarter in your house, like what?
If they would let you, I mean, if like you either fight for America or you just deal with like the invaders, it's like, I mean, I'm already living under invaders anyways. I feel like, you know,
yeah, but
somebody
I think
is controlling all this shit around me. I can't do anything about it.
like if somebody came and tried to let a soldier like sleep in my house, if like an occupying force came and said this soldier's gonna sleep in your house, I'd run outside with like a baseball bat and a football helmet on and just start hitting people with bats, I guess.
Okay.
I'll defend my property.
Sure.
Or what my area, my neighbors and shit, you know?
Yeah, you're finding a lot of common ground with like the constitutional people. I like this. I like that you've
It's not that. It's that we don't need.
you
'cause
have
then
the
it's like-
same line in the sand as a lot of the 3%ers
That's true.
do.
That's true. I'm sounding real bad.
Yeah, like,
but
no,
then,
it's
like,
not bad. I'm just saying this is a great way to like reach across the aisle and maybe get some of those people on our sides.
But I mean, that's not going to happen. That's my point, though. Nobody's
Right.
going to invade here.
Sure.
And there has not been a single time that they've gassed up airplanes and attached bombs to them where I was like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's go over here and do this to these people.
True.
Maybe the whole Hitler times, I guess, was like the one time that we should have done it or something. But even Vietnam, it's like, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have been over there.
No, Vietnam was bad.
We shouldn't have been down in fucking, Central America. We should have never been doing that shit. We should have never been over in the Middle East. We shouldn't be anywhere.
Right.
We should be right here. This is our shit. That's their shit. And everybody has their own shit in their little place. That's why we can't have in America anymore.
Right.
But what
It muddies the waters.
And the
so
reason-
what's this all? Yeah, what are we getting this back towards?
And the reason I'm saying this, all this about the military, is because we could take their money and have Medicare for all.
That's true.
We could all have a fucking PlayStation 4, a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Our phone bills would be paid for. Our fucking, like there wouldn't be any worries at all.
We could shut down the Home Depots and just reopen them as tool libraries where
Yes.
you could go just rent the shit.
Yeah.
Or access it.
This whole thing could be fucking fixed. That's how you fix it, really. Like Bernie Sanders, he'll get us health care. Maybe that'll help us build a better socialist army. And then, I don't really know what comes next, but whatever. Maybe he'll forget. I'll
mean,
vote for the person who says something
you have
about my
to-
student loans. Really,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
mean-
guy I'm voting for.
Sure, it would increase material conditions, but you still have to we have to spend some time outside of the American voting system.
I agree. Again, like I'm not endorsing anybody. I do like talking about it, and I do think
You're
it's,
Dem, man.
I think
you're
it's
a regular old donkey.
I'm not
now.
a Democrat. I do like
You're a horse
talking about
racer.
it, and I do think
Donkey racing.
I think it's within our thing to talk about some of this stuff. So,
yeah, I know they are. I mean, they're all reptilians.
yeah,
we know that.
Yeah, I don't like any of them. These Democrats say that there's no way we can do all these things, and I feel like there's unlimited ways to do this shit.
Is Bernie's bad with Israel, right?
Yes.
All right, just making sure. I thought he was a piece
I think
of shit
Bernie's
about
bad
that.
with like anything. He doesn't mind killing people in other
Right,
countries.
right.
He's one of those guys that's just like, well, slow down.
Sometimes, right.
I'm a progressive, okay? But not for people outside of America. Those are less people. We kill them in
Right.
bunches if we have to.
Sure.
Just to send a message.
Cost
you know?
doing business.
No, that's what I don't like about him. There's been a few things. Sesta Fosta.
Yeah,
Like he
that's
was
the
into
dumb
that
one.
too.
Yeah,
He's like a fan of that. All of them were. All of them.
yeah. I mean, it just sounds good. I don't know I don't understand it. You're right. I mean, it does show how alien they are because I couldn't imagine being in those environments and looking at that stuff and then coming to the conclusions that these fucking adults come to, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these people have lived.
Yeah.
They've seen the world.
There's so many things they could do. I mean, like with Sesta Fosta, it's like repeal that fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it'll be safe again. It's unsafe because
It's-
of that.
Yeah. It's fucking annoying.
Because
I
that
hate
shit,
the government.
the closing down, like
Shut the government down.
closing down all those websites made sex work
Oh, I know.
a million times
Yeah.
more fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it was stupid. And it's
Yeah.
about sending messages, which is not important. It's about doing what's best for all of us, which none of them govern with. Like,
Yeah.
that's what sucks, is that the Democrats is the only options that we have, but they aren't worried about helping citizens. They're worried about sending messages.
Well, they're
you know?
worried about helping this middle class that none of us are in.
Right.
Like, well, I mean, I guess I'm probably getting middle class, although I don't think I am, but I guess I'm getting there, you know? And like, I feel like they have a concern for improving my life or your life. I just think that anybody that makes less than me, they just don't care. They've written them off. You have to make a certain amount of money before you're somebody that the Democrats care about.
Well, yeah, until it makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not acknowledgement of what day-to-day life is. I don't think that, the conservatives do a really good job of just applying like a bootstrap type story to it, where it's like, hey, you're making $8 today, but if you really try hard, like this person I know or this book that I read, you can be successful, Democrats don't have anything they just ignore it. Democrats just ignore all of like the suffering and like the working class pain that's in the world. They
not
just are like
telling a story.
trying to throw a party, right?
Yeah,
They're
but
just
I think we've always said on this show, the way that I think they think of everything is like, okay, so there's our constituents, the middle class, upper middle class, higher income people. Those are our constituents. And then anybody that makes less than them are just people we have to manage and like move around, and we got to figure them out, Because I don't think they think they're getting any votes from people without money. And like, that's what I think. I think I don't think they understand that everybody can see.
I think
that they think of us, they think of a large group of people in this country as they need to be managed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a shithound about it all, but at the end of the day, like, paying attention to this stuff is funny. But for me, just knowing that the folks pulling the strings that make the final decision are the same, like, reptilian, not looking out for us fucking people that's, really fucked over Bernie in 2016,
Well, that's the other
guy's
thing,
insanely
too.
popular. Like, if I was running a marketing company, like, the guy just has everything.
Yeah.
No convincing. No one has to be convinced.
Wouldn't even be hard. It would, the enthusiasm. Again, we've talked about this since the last election, but that Democratic National Convention was the most lifeless thing I've ever seen. I just have never felt a lifeless vibe like I did in that city and when we were watching the convention on TV. There was no enthusiasm. And then I look at my timeline and I talk to people and I talk to more socialists and I see a real enthusiasm for somebody. And this is the Democrats saying, you can't have this guy.
Yeah.
This you can't have. There's only two choices, and you're not. There's
Well, I mean, it's like any company, man. It's like they're just the people that they like.
Yeah.
The people that they want or that they envision being the leader, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are people that hate his guts. That's
Sure.
been fun to watch on.
Fun,
I've been laughing. They've
subjective.
been making up stories and shit. It's been pretty fun to watch, And I mean, but that's not a lot of people. That's the other thing. Like all these people online that are talking about, it's like 15 fucking bloggers. Who cares?
Right.
Their opinion on this isn't going to swing anything in any way. The shittiest thing in the world is that Twitter drives all the mainstream narratives. It seems like it does drive it because the Bernie is sexist thing comes from Twitter.
Right.
And then somehow
It's leaked to
it
Facebook.
gets to because it gets to journalists, because all the fucking journalists are on Twitter.
Right.
And they think that Twitter is the voice of the people. And then what happens is this small place where it's a couple million people, most of them not even fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
This small place decides the conversation all the way up to the election. And it's such a non-indicator of anything. Because if it was an indicator of anything, Hillary Clinton would have won that fucking election.
Right.
People were out there saying you need to go vote for her. On there, all night, that night.
Yeah.
It's not an indicator of fucking anything. It's not a big, the only reason it's big is because it's where the people from the media go.
Yeah.
And the people that run the news stations, Chris Hayes and those people like that, they get their shit from those from Twitter, and then it drives like this story. It sucks. It fucking sucks because it's the most unhealthy way to drive a story.
Yeah.
Drive this story, you know?
Yeah.
It's a place where everybody's damaged. Like everybody has an agenda, and everybody is just yelling at each other. And that's why to them it feels like everybody's yelling at each other. But I can go. See, I talked to normal people about in that last election, and I didn't see the same kind of vitriol during Hillary. During the primary, people were not screaming at each other. People aren't screaming at each other in real life over this primary. I just know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's the people that are trying to convince you that they are a viable candidate, and then there's this guy that just kind of represents what most people think government should be doing anyways, which is like looking out for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
And it really is. I think I just get frustrated, man. I'm apathetic about the whole thing because I'm super frustrated to know that it's not a matter of popularity. It's not a matter of the people's choice. It's managering and like political fighting and like, you know,
you have to be
the most
willing.
Corporate person wins.
I mean, when you look at his donations yesterday, like he outraised everybody else that's running for president. Yesterday, within a couple of hours of announcing his presidency, and it came from like 103,000 different donors donating $27.
Right.
That's a real thing. That is a real fucking thing. Let's find out, where did everybody else get their money? How many different donors do the other people that are running have? Right. I just wonder. It's just this grassroots thing. You know, they did it to the I think Ron Paul was kind of the beginning of this. I don't think he was a good guy, but I felt like he inspired a bunch of people. And the Republicans kind of engineered their way around him, too. You know, like, and they're doing this to Bernie Sanders. They're going to build. I don't know how it works. You know, I don't have any way to understand how the money works, but they build a big mailing list through this guy. They use this guy to build their mailing list and get all these people so that on November 2nd, they can start screaming at them about how, yes, your guy didn't win and we fucking engineered it so that he had no chance to win, but we still need you to come out and vote to save the world from Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's our world.
Yeah, that's great.
It's daily life.
You want to hear a funny story? Let's get into
anything but this.
Let's go to something else here. I got a good one. This is from the Washington Post in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Oh, this is great. This is not actually a good story. This make me mad. This is making me mad. A Florida student is facing misdemeanor charges after a confrontation with his teacher that began with his refusal to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and escalated into what officials described as disruptive behavior. This is the type of thing I'd be proud of my kid for doing.
Sure.
I think you shouldn't. We don't make people pray.
Right.
And saying the Pledge of Allegiance to me,
it's a prayer.
It's
part of
a beautiful prayer.
It's an American Bible. It's a prayer.
Yeah, this much of a prayer.
It's a prayer.
It's not. You're not like talking about Jesus, and you can take under God out of it. But America in that thing feels like kind of like a Jesus. A little. It's like a half Jesus.
It's nothing that is essential to your education, and really, it's only about subordination, I guess, right? It's only about saying that you follow the rules every single time just because the teacher said so, right?
Yeah,
because
I guess like one of my feelings about it is that like part of me thinks about it like Oh Susanna. You know, we all go to school and we all learn the song Oh Susanna. And, like, nobody likes that song. Nobody's, like, a big fan of the song Oh Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me. But you learn it in music class. Or you did when I was a kid.
Okay.
You would learn it in music class.
Yeah,
I think we look at the pledge, like, we look at it like that, but it's wrong to look at it like that. Because it is not that. You know, it's not a traditional folklore thing. It is a pledge.
The pledge is, I mean, okay, so Okay, so the reaction to the pledge, like, wait, is that what they say at the football games? Is that what Kaepernick was doing?
Oh, good. No, they do the other song.
The
The
Star
Star
Spangled
Spangled Banner.
Right. So
The pledge is creepier than that.
the pledge is
I
way
think.
creepier, but the pledge is way more untouchable. Like, I don't hear anybody complaining about the pledge.
Well, they
that
took
one
Under God
TV
out
show
that one
did the
time.
best thing, but
The Whitest Kid You Know did
Yeah.
a good thing. Well, they took Under God out at one
Okay.
point, but they added Under God, and then an atheist was like, "I don't like this Under God," and I'm like, "You're arguing the wrong thing, my guy. Like, you should just not like the whole thing."
yeah, I would love to get it removed from the school. Especially because my school is like my kid's school is super progressive and is like really focused on like, history and like lifting like minority voices and things like that. They're really focused on that. I think that it would be like huge for them to do something.
Can
like
I ask
that.
you if you've ever?
I'm gonna try
considered
to.
going.
I
fucking
might.
Dare
I
you.
might. I just
fucking-
want to see what they'll say. I'm gonna do it and see what
Dude,
they
you're
say.
a radio host,
Yeah.
and like you're an activist, and it's not like they can say like this is expected from you. This is behavior that is expected from you in your career. So it's not weird for you to do. You know what I like? If the news would cover it. If
I
you
just
did
don't
it.
think she understands what she's pledging to.
No, she has no idea. None. She doesn't
She-
understand that she's pledging. She
She's a
doesn't.
sweet little girl that loves her teacher, and then her teacher is telling her to pledge her life to her country, which is her country is not doing shit for her, right? I mean, the schools they're talking about Columbus City schools might have a state takeover.
Yeah.
We're having
okay,
a meeting
great.
about it. Yeah, that might fucking happen. So I don't know why she would pledge allegiance to that fucking government.
Right. Well, I'm kind of. It's one. I should do it too. I'm a coward, of course. Like that's the kind of thing. Your wife is different than mine, in that if you were going to do something you believed in, she'd be like, "Go for it." My wife would be like, "You're gonna make us an outcast. They're gonna come over here with pitchforks and torches and fucking murder us in the middle of the night because you go in there. They're gonna start investigating your drug use or some weird." My
Yeah.
wife is so terrified about that shit. But it really is such a radio host thing to do, to go to a meeting, come up and say, "Why y'all saying the pledge? Like, can we
Yeah.
not say the pledge here? Can we cancel that?"
Yeah.
But you know what they're gonna say to you. Your daughter doesn't have to say the pledge. She can sit down.
Yeah.
But then look what you've done to your daughter.
Yeah.
That's why we have to get rid of the fucking pledge.
Right.
100%. Because I don't want my kid to be a fucking outcast because she don't want to do the fucking pledge.
Well, they arrested this fucking kid.
Well, yeah. The student, a 6th grader at Lawton Childs Middle Academy in Lakeland, Florida, east of Tampa, refused to stand up for the pledge in a February 4th incident, telling the teacher that he thinks the flag and national anthem are racist against black people, according to an affidavit. The teacher then had what appeared to be a contentious exchange with the boy. "If living in the United States is so bad, why not go to another place to live?" substitute teacher Anna Alvarez asked the student, according to a handwritten statement from her.
You like
can't say that to-
fire that kid, fire that teacher.
I know. How are you going to say that to
This
a
is-
fucking kid? How?
We're gonna go into fantasy world real quick, where like the police have are community servants, there's community policing, and they have some sort of thing. They have some sort of servant, like some sort of use.
Yes.
If you fuck up, you get fired.
I think she should be
And the
fired.
same with teachers too. Like
fired.
if you can't deal with kids, if you can't do the fucking job, get out of there. Right?
Well, Brett, if it was anything else in the world, that would have happened. It just happens to be the pledge. It just happens to be the pledge. That's what it is, dude. Like this kid would this.
No, she was being like racist to him though.
No,
She was like, get out of my. She was basically get out of this country.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying. She would have been in trouble if this was anything other than the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh.
If this was anything
Right,
in this
right.
whole entire world else, she would be in trouble. But it's the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's like politicians with strip clubs. My dad once told me, but I don't know why he told me this, but there was like an adult bookstore that people used to protest outside of by my house, and I always said like. I always wondered why they protested and shit. And I think somebody told me once, it might not even be my dad, it was somebody, but he's like, well, no politicians is going to go stand on a stage and be like, we need to have more strip clubs. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Nobody's going to go out and say, these teachers should stop forcing people to say like, no respectable person. Like, a guy with a... Chris Hayes isn't going to go on TV and say that. He's a lib. You know, there's these liberals that they ain't going to come on TV and say we should cancel the pledge.
But that's the thing, though, is that the brainwashing has worked, man. Like, we're dealing with, like, 90% of fucking people love that thing and don't think it should be touched.
They think it's weird. I know that...
People are bothered by it. If you mentioned it, even people that don't agree with it, people that would say America is a murderous fucking country that needs to be stopped, but they would be like, but I don't know if we should get rid of that, you know? It just makes people feel fucking uneasy.
Yeah, well, yeah, me and you have always had that kind of thing in
like,
real life. That when you're having a conversation with somebody about politics... You're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to go in certain directions. There's a bunch of directions you're not allowed to go into, and once you start going anti-American, you become sacrilegious, basically,
right.
And they wash their hands of you, and the conversation's over. You're not allowed to think about life in a world without America.
And it's the same thing with, like, religion, too, where, like, from your earliest memories, people are telling you about this religion and telling you that you're going to go to hell for doing these things. And even as you grow old and you find the world to be different than that, you still are racked with this guilt from it because it's literally all you've known since you were a child. That's what's, like, so dangerous about doing this shit. You know, to, like, my kid, is that she's so impressionable right now. And you're placing these thoughts inside of her that she pledged allegiance to this place, you know?
Well, and let's get to because there's more to this story. So if living in the United States is so bad, why not go to another place to live? Substitute teacher Anna Alvarez asked the student, according to a handwritten statement from her. They brought me here, the boy replied. Alvarez responded by saying, well, you can always go back because I came here from Cuba, and the day I feel I'm not welcome here anymore, I would find another place to live. She then called the school office as she did not want to keep dealing with the student, according to the statement. Officials said the situation escalated. The student yelled at the administrative dean and a school resource officer with the Lakeland Police Department after they came to the classroom, accusing them of being racist and repeatedly refusing to leave the room. Now, here's something I want to say, because this is at the beginning of the story under the stock photo of the American flag. The Supreme Court ruled in 1943 that schools cannot require students to salute the flag or recite the pledge, citing First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
So this is a right that already exists, right?
The motherfucking thing they're pledging allegiance to gives this kid the right to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right. So this teacher now is 100% wrong.
Right.
This kid shouldn't be in the office. But we talk about this with sovereign citizens all the time. This is why we want to sit down. This is why I want to have a sit-down television show where I sit sovereign citizens down and say, yes, I get all of what you're saying. I know that you were just born here. You didn't agree to be a part of this thing.
Right.
But they will beat you up and kill you. If like that, right. It's like it doesn't matter that it's not fair.
Right.
They can still beat you up and kill you.
Right.
And that's what this is. This kid is in their rights. And this is a 2-second thing. Oh, he's sitting for the pledge. Okay? Why are you sitting for the pledge? This country's racist. Well, I don't agree with you, but okay.
Right.
But instead, this escalated over and over again.
To a child being arrested.
We're talking, well, yeah, and that's where so officials say so here's what we got. Officials say the situation escalated. The student yelled, okay, so he yelled up, suspend me. I don't care. This school is racist. The student, who is black, told the dean as he walked out of the classroom with his backpack, according to the affidavit. According to a statement from the Lakeland Police Department, the boy then created another disturbance and made threats while he was escorted to the office. He was later charged by police with disruption of a school facility and resisting an officer without violence. But
Wait, what?
Here's the thing.
Wait, resisting without violence is a charge.
That is it's probably from
Jawjacking?
Jawjacking. You're not. Remember when that guy called the officer a bitch and a hoe and he went and yelled at him?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that. They made a law against that.
Jesus.
You're not allowed to call your officer a bitch or a hoe anymore. But that is not what. Let's be fucking honest here. Let's be straight up here. He got suspended because he didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. That's why he got arrested, and that's why he got suspended. This kind of thing only gets out of hand when these patriotic people get involved. They're the ones that take everything too far.
Oh yeah.
It's a wonderful country. You can say whatever you want, except for don't fucking sit down while we're singing our sacred song.
No, they're the might makes right people.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. When I was a kid, in 5th grade, there was this kid I went to school with. Me, and I had a couple friends, and every morning when the pledge came, we would sit
Right.
through it as a gag.
Sure.
I wasn't like not patriotic. I wasn't making a political statement. It was just like, how many days can we sit down before the
Swim.
teacher catches us?
Right,
6
right.
days for me. I get away with it 6 times. That was like my record. I don't remember anybody else's record, but I remember being really proud. Like, damn, 6 times I got away with this.
Sure.
And I just imagine if somebody wanted to take that really far back then. I was 11. I was a fucking idiot. I was just dicking around. This kid has a legitimate gripe
Right.
with this country. He thinks it's a racist country. That's 100% legitimate. And you know, there's probably people. We all know how teenagers and kids are, and we all know that like maybe he was just being a pain in the ass that day, or
Sure.
he came to school in a bad mood. He's allowed. He's just allowed to do
Yeah.
that. We're all humans. And they threw this kid in jail because he didn't stand for the sacred song.
Right,
Is what
right.
they really did.
Yeah.
Because this creating a disturbance shit, the teacher created this
Oh, yeah.
disturbance. This disturbance
You
was
could-
nothing.
You could have ignored it and just continued on and then had your fucking class. Now you've made a big stink about this kid that stood up against the pledge.
Yeah.
Maybe other students now will be like, it is kind of racist, you know?
It is, yeah. Well, look, it's a black kid that they took to jail too.
Sure, yeah.
That's the other thing. I don't know. I don't think a little white boy's threats would have been treated the same way either. Somebody that's like me, like somebody that looks like me, would they have said I was threatening them if I said I'm gonna whoop your ass or something to a cop? No, they would be like, this fucking rascal out here is bad mouthing.
Well, that's what I think too. Is that there's even comments from his mom that says like he's not really like that. I was pretty shocked to hear that he would say any of this stuff. You know?
Yeah,
Because
Lakeland police said in the
Maybe
news,
he did say like I'm not doing anything wrong. You know, you can't do this to me. And they're like, oh, is that a threat?
Yeah.
Were you gonna do something about it? You
they
know?
fucking love doing that.
They do.
Dude.
They love
That's
to
such a
hype you up.
police Thing.
Yeah.
We gotta get Jason on sometime to talk about all the crazy things police has said to, because if you're a bigger guy too, that's another thing they'll do. If you're like a big strong
Challenge
guy,
you.
they'll just be like, oh, what, are you fucking resisting? And it's like, no, I'm fucking talking to you like a person. I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
That's the thing here, and this is bullshit. Like, what happened to this kid is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. This is awful.
You know, and if I'm his
That
mom,
teacher needs to be fucking fired.
I know. That teacher is a huge problem. That's not how you handle things. And we're
Yeah.
learning, I guess, that there is a conservative. I don't think all teachers are. I think most teachers, there's a lot of good teachers. There's teachers that listen to Street Fight. There's teachers that are
you just
liberal.
you don't want to hurt our base.
I know.
We have so many teachers that listen to this
Librarians.
show, but they work with fucking awful, disgusting people.
Yeah. Well, they say it too. They're like, there's a lot of conservative teachers, and there are a lot of conservative teachers out there, and I don't know how we deal with it because you can't stop. If somebody wants to teach kids, right, and they have the ability to do so, like, if somebody, that's fine. But it seems as though some people get involved with kids that don't have an ability to deal with kids, or just don't have the right kind of temper
Yeah.
to deal with. This cop, if a cop has to take a kid to jail, he doesn't fucking know how to deal with kids.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to grab a teenager and take him to jail.
Not a teenager.
How old was this kid?
11.
Okay, so if you get into a thing with an 11-year-old
Right.
and you have to take that 11-year-old to jail, you're a fucking problem. Like, that's
Yeah.
your problem. You don't need to be around kids. Because an 11-year-old never has to go to jail.
Yeah.
Unless they beat somebody with a hammer or shoot somebody. There's other ways to solve
Sure.
problems.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Especially one like sitting through the fucking pledge. Especially when like this isn't even something new. Like if this was 1963, right?
Yeah.
And some guy was wearing a fucking Elvis t-shirt in class and was like, I'm not gonna say the fucking pledge.
Well, I'm not going to say the pledge.
Then they
Rudy
would
cats.
beat the shit. But like it's happening. Like Kaepernick set the standard for this. This isn't like new. This shouldn't be out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
I would have at least as a school, I would expect them to say, like, here's our policy of what to do when kids fucking want to sit through the pledge or whatever the fucking goofy song is. Star Spangled Banner? Is that what it's called?
The Star Spangled Banner is the one they sing at sporting events.
Okay.
Oh,
The Jose?
No, that's the wrong
It's about Jose.
Jose. That one. And then there's the other one where
Can
they're
you
like,
see?
they have that other song.
What?
And tomorrow,
America the Be-
all the things we're gone.
That's the
No, they don't
fireworks.
sing
That's
that,
the
but I love
fireworks
that
song. No, that's the fireworks
the
song.
4th of July song.
Yeah.
That's
Proud
just
to
a
be
4th
an
of July
American.
song. Don't be worrying about that. No, there's the other, God Bless America. Because in New York,
No, America
them
the-
motherfuckers in New York will do the pledge, or not the pledge. They do the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
And then in the 7th inning, they'll do God Bless America.
Oh.
You just got to do the whole thing. And then there is My Country,
That's
Tears
a
of
good-
the
I haven't heard that in a-
Sweet Land of
I haven't heard that in
Thee.
a long time.
I don't even know what that song is. Why don't we hear that song anymore? I used to have to sing
America's-
it. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's Pride.
You had to sing that?
I did in school. We did them all, dude.
I only
And Oh Susanna. I don't know if you ever
Yeah, I
did
remember Oh Susanna.
Oh Susanna,
They did that in
don't you
choir.
cry for me.
I
Yeah.
remember that one. And
They
just
sing
being
like-
why? How is this relevant to
It's
me
so
at
degenerate
all?
now. They sing like Tatiana in choir now.
Do they?
Bust down Tatiana. These kids are in choir singing "Don't Believe Me, Just Watch."
Bring it up, now break that shit down.
The ACLU of Florida issued a rebuke in the wake of the controversy. This is outrageous. Students don't lose their First Amendment rights when they enter the schoolhouse gate, the group said on Twitter. This is a prime example of the over-policing of black students in schools. I want to get to the first part of that, though. This is a prime example of the over-policing of black students in schools. This is that. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But the first sentence where it says, "This is outrageous. Students do not lose their First Amendment rights when they enter the schoolhouse gates." I had so many teachers
That's true.
tell me that the Constitution didn't apply to me
Yes.
in school. Because I was always,
I've heard that
always
too.
trying to get like a pleading the fifth, a kind
Yep.
of,
Yep.
like if they caught me smoking in the bathroom, I prove it. You know,
Right.
what would you prove I was doing it?
Right.
It don't work that way. They
have a
just
right-
got to say it. It's all hearsay.
I have a right to a speedy trial.
I'd
And,
like to appeal this detention.
I
sir.
actually, I can't afford representation, so I expect the school will be providing something for me.
For me, it would be like my parents will refuse to defend me, so I feel
Yeah.
like somebody should bring in some mean parents.
Yeah, I need like some.
Defend me.
Yeah, I need some like tiger parents.
Yeah.
Some
Like, bring in-
tough parents.
I get to sit at the school and defend the students whose parents are wieners.
Yeah. You can be hired as the parent. You show up. You're like, I'm supposed to be at work right now. That's the first thing you say.
Oh, yeah, doing my job, not babysitting this kid. That's
You
your
brought
job.
me in for this shit. Oh.
I should be allowed to sit at a school in dirty Carhartts and fucking yell at
Talk shit to the
teachers when they
principal.
get mad at the students. I'm gonna let students pay me.
Get on Venmo, dude. Get on Venmo and Instagram and be a paid parent. Get some of these rich kids, Instagram kids, to fly you out and be their dirty dad. Just shows up at school.
Fucking Carhartt, just
Cussing,
Carhartt
just
bibs,
letting
just
cuss
cussing.
words fly.
Smell like cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's like somebody blows cigarettes all over me. Oh, what are we doing here? I would like. I should put a thing in Venmo where it's like, if you want to put my phone number instead of your parents' phone number on your school sheets as
yes.
a contact,
Yeah.
you can do that, but it's going to cost you $30 a month.
Right,
it's like a
right.
subscription service where if they call me, I'll just cuss them out, and then they can't call me anymore. I was actually talking to a teacher, maybe it was a principal, after one of the live shows, and they kind of talked about how, like, sometimes you'll have a student that the easiest way to punish them is to just say, "I'll call your parents," and then you have other students where that threat
Right.
goes right up
Doesn't
fucking
work.
with
Yeah.
Brett's parents, probably.
Yeah. I was like, you don't want them in here. They're going to create a lot of problems. My parents did the... Yeah, my parents were not good to deal with. I remember I was always so embarrassed because actually I remember some of those classes where I actually really cared and gave a shit and had like a thoughtful thing, and my teacher recognized that we had like a good relationship. And then my parents would come in and like just throw a fucking fit, and I would see that like precious normal person with the dysfunctionality of my parents, the weight of it just bearing down on them and being like, I'm so fucking sorry, Miss Lynn.
You shouldn't have done
Miss
this.
Lynn.
Miss Lynn, you shouldn't have had a
Took
parent
the
teacher
extra
conference.
time. You wanted to talk to him. Yeah, it didn't work out though.
You could have, like, and if you would have told them, like, you don't want to have parent teacher conference.
Yeah.
They don't
like-
want to come here.
Right.
You don't want it.
Right.
She would have never believed you, though.
Right.
She would have still wanted. No, your parents are probably reasonable.
Sure,
no,
sure.
They're not. Jason one time got in trouble. We had a crafts class together, and everything we made was satanic or had cigarettes on it
Right.
because we were just being edgelords, you know. And we had to make these craft hands, these ceramic like clay hands.
Okay.
Right. And Jason made his like doing Radical Dude because the idea,
Shaka Bra.
yeah, the idea was to like hollow it out here, And
For a
then-
pipe.
put a little thing on the end, and then you could just brush it off, and you got yourself a nice little pipe. And then he painted it black, and he painted these leaves around it. They didn't even fucking look like weed leaves.
Okay.
They looked like little vines, right, Jason? They were like just little vines. And they called my fucking teacher, Mr. Buckley, who's like the drug and alcohol teacher, who also Jason had called him Mr. like sang the Mr. Bucket song to him. So he's already just irritated his shit out of him, you know? Because we used to walk by him and be like, Mr. Buckley, he's buckets of fun. So, and he
Mr.
was
Buckley,
like,
the balls pop out of my mouth.
and he was so like of all the people in school, there was like the vice principal was our biggest enemy, Mr. Holcomb, whom Jason called Nipple Face because he was always pink. Like the amount of disrespect this guy was able to pull off was just top level
Sure.
for me. It was something I admired because I was afraid of him.
Yeah.
And then after him, there were like this series of what they call disciplinarians. There were like 5 or 6 teachers who would take.
Council?
Right. Well, they would take from, okay, she has A to L. He has L to
Oh.
whatever of the students.
They get assigned.
And then you would come in, and basically what it was like, well, you didn't show up to Saturday school, you're suspended. Oh, you have 13 detentions, and you're not coming to them. You got to go to in-school suspension.
Right.
Yeah, this is basically every time I talked to him, that was kind of the whole thing. And my parents got so fired up at this guy. It's the only time they ever yelled at anybody because it like wasn't weed leaves. He
Right.
called them in and was like, "They're leaves. You know what he's talking about." And they're like, "How do you even know what he's talking? What is he supposed to paint on this
Right,
hand?
right.
Is there some special thing?" I'm just like,
Don't censor my child's art.
right, but nothing.
Were you trying to do weed leaves? Jason, were you trying to do...
It was borderline pushing it. So,
Oh.
Also,
okay.
I'll say
So
this.
you're doing an
He also-
interpretation of...
but like it wasn't, I mean, it was
Okay.
enough to, it was enough for me to say that it wasn't, but enough for them to say that it was.
Okay.
He also, let me
Borderline
explain this. He
weed
also
leafing.
wrote Bud on it.
But
That was our
no.
cat's name.
Oh, okay.
It was like,
Well,
I'm making it for my fucking cat.
You really were just dancing on the line there.
Doesn't matter, dude.
Right, I know.
The teacher.
They got trolled. The teacher got triggered.
Right, they're adults.
Right. You're just get over it. It's a fucking stupid kid doing it. You go on to the next day.
Yeah.
But don't give him the satisfaction. Don't give him the satisfaction.
I know. I don't know why she would freak out every time. If it was satanic, she would freak out. And it's like, don't freak out. That's like exactly what I'm trying to get you to do is freak out.
That kid will never stand for the flag ever again. And I bet if you would have just let things run its course, he would have just ended up at Chase Bank, like going to hockey games on the weekend and saluting the flag.
Yeah. Oh no, this kid will never stand again.
Right.
The 11-year-old boy's mother, Dakira Talbot, was not immediately available for comment Sunday, probably because she's at fucking work. But she told Bay News 9 that the teacher was wrong and that the school overstepped its authority by punishing her son, who was taken to a juvenile detention center and suspended for 3 days.
Oh, God.
Suspension for 3 days is the top. Okay, in my school, suspension for 3 days, then suspension for 10 days, then expulsion. Suspension for 3 days is one of the stiffest punishments you can get in school.
Yep.
That's like that's the stiff one. That's the one that's supposed to scare you.
Right.
It never did. And like that never worked on a
It
single
doesn't
person.
make any sense because the person doesn't like school anyways.
I know.
Just giving them time off.
I'm gonna give you 3 days off. Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
You know you're not allowed to make up your work for those 3. What?
Yeah.
I can't make up my homework. Oh, jeez, I wasn't doing it anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure my negligent parents are going to really be hard on me during these 3 days.
An underrated part of the story I wrote about the history of Street Fight that doesn't come off in the article was that I read Howard Stern's Miss America 2 times in 3 days because I was in school suspension. I had a 3-day in school, which usually I had to serve 2, but if you were bad, they would tack on that extra day. And of course, I always had to serve 3 because I would always like make up a thing where it was like, you were only allowed to go to the bathroom 2 times a day with the whole class, but I would always like throw a fucking temper tantrum and say, "But I'll go to the bathroom now," and like just get into a whole thing with the teacher. But I read this book in 2 days because I didn't do any work at all. I didn't do any homework. I was there. They brought my work to me in a folder, and I was like, I didn't even bring a pencil. Like,
Yeah.
there's just some people you can't. That's why I firmly believe in, like, if there's a person like me in the class and I express interest in anything in the whole world, you should just do that. Just
Right.
You go do that.
Right.
You know? Because I think most students wouldn't. Most students would just opt to do regular school.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what I wanted to. I don't know what it would have been at the time. Comedy. It's just like they should have just let me sit in a room and be a goofball or something somewhere, or writing or anything. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm hurt more so for my son. My son has never been through anything like this, Talbot told the TV station. He went to jail, dude. Like, that is really fucked. The fact that they took him and actually put him in jail
For
this.
sitting through the Pledge of Allegiance.
They're all feeling justified. They're all feeling justified because he probably said something that could technically be construed as a threat.
Sure.
It wasn't a threat. It was never a threat. You know? Fuck this school district. Fuck these teachers. This is like one of those things we talk about where we talk about a court case and you hear about a court case and you're like, how did this get all the way in front of all these adults and end like this?
Right.
This
Yeah.
is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, they just kept fucking it up over and over again. Nobody just stopped and was like, wait a second. This actually doesn't fucking matter at all.
Yeah. No, it didn't. You're right. I want 2 more things. These are work related, and I just want to ask you a question about something. And then we got what we love to read, a story about work-life balance.
Oh, great.
Some advice from Fast Company about
Ooh,
work-life balance by a
interesting.
person who probably gets paid to be a blogger for a living.
Yeah.
So somebody on Facebook was posting in the Street Fight group because the name Terry was in the post.
Uh-huh.
But it had an interesting, I think it was very interesting to me, and I wanted to bring it up to you.
Okay.
Terry was clipping their fingernails at their desk.
Right.
And this was a problem.
Right.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't know why it's a problem. Are you okay? Would you be okay with the person working? This is the workplace we're in, okay? I'm making this workplace up to make it the maximum amount. We are in cubicle, like it's a call center with the cubicle that comes out and the desk, and then it's over and over, right? This person sitting right next to you, they're clipping their fingernails. What the fuck is wrong with that? Why? Why are we caring? I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on this, to be honest.
What's
I feel
wrong with
like
fingernails?
I'm going to say that it is a handed down, like, manners about what you can and can't do and where that stays. But nails are really just not that fucking gross. And
That's what I've been saying. And people were like, there's doo-doo under your nails. And I'm like, I mean, there
So
might
what?
be doo-doo under your
it's
fucking
all over
nails.
the inside of your fucking mouth, too.
There's poop. That is the other thing, dude.
We're living in it.
Yeah, there's
That's
fucking...
what's so weird about, like, when they talk about antibacterial and all this or that, or like fighting against germs. It's like germs aren't taking us down. Like it's too sanitized, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, thank you. If you're a listener
But-
and you're in the chat, will you please fucking...
It seems rude though, because I know it does gross some people out.
But we need to talk to these people. That's what I'm trying to say.
It does seem perform. I mean, I just don't know how you. That's a learned behavior to be bothered by it. The sound is annoying, I guess.
The sound? No.
Yeah.
It's a...
Yeah, it's annoying.
No. You're pulling here. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything that every human does is annoying. Every human that's not you, everything the human that's not you does is annoying. All your fucking habits are annoying to somebody. All my habits are annoying to somebody. We need to live in a world where we understand that we're all have things that annoy people. And clipping your fingernails seems like the least annoying thing in the world. I can't think of one thing less annoying than that. Why?
Not clipping your nails would
Okay,
be more
not
less
clipping your nails, but you're over there fucking. You know what I usually do? I shake my foot. I'm a shaky boy, right?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
always shaking.
Yeah.
You know, people always say that's fucking annoying. That's not fair. That's just what I do. And then I have to stop shaking. And you know how I feel when I stop shaking? Horrible. Fucking horrible. Because I can't move my leg. Why is that annoying you? Why is the shaking annoying? Why is the tapping your foot annoying you? We have to be more understanding that we're all annoying creatures. Every one of us are annoying creatures. I believe that, and we just don't have
You don't believe in public decorum at all.
I don't think that's what I'm saying is if this person was fucking picking their ass at their desk, that's a problem, okay?
Why?
Because it's gross. That's gross. Picking your ass is way different than clipping your nails, right? I would fucking, dude, I'll tell you what, I'll eat your fingernails.
Okay.
Clip your
let's
nails
do
the
it.
next time.
Let's do
Cook
this.
them into a fucking cake and I'll eat your goddamn fingernails.
Oh, it has to be in a cake?
Well, fucking, I will eat your fingernails.
Well, I was going to roast them with, like, some sort of chili
Fine,
powder.
put some balsamic vinegar on there or something like that. Get a reduction on it. I will fucking do it. But I don't think it's that bad. I
it's
really
another one-
just think that it's like, it's
You know-
not, it's just, some people do things when they're uncomfortable.
This reminds me of when people think hair is gross, too. And that doesn't gross me out at
Me
all.
neither.
It's like inanimate. It's just not like... They're not like covered with like fluids or anything.
Right.
They're
I'm
not
straight
they're
up
not
eat your hair.
fleshy or gooey or anything.
I would eat your hair. You know what? Fill a dumpster with hair and I'll jump in it. I don't care. What's going to happen? I'm going to get hair disease?
We're doing... I don't know how our show has become like we're like in the germ arena now.
No,
like
I'm just...
food safety and hygiene.
That's true. No, I just think that, like, when you're at work and you're working in an office, all the comforts that you can, any comfort that you could have, anything that would make you feel comfortable and better, I want to facilitate that. I want you to feel good at your office. I want you to feel good here, Brett. I want you to sit down, do the podcast, and I want you to do whatever it takes to make you feel good and comfortable and have fun, okay? And if that's clipping your fucking fingernails, there's a lot worse things for you to be doing over there, you know? You be spitting. Just spitting fucking, those things, sunflower seeds. You're just splitting, like, that's gross. Fingernails and hair are not gross. And
Okay.
that's all.
Okay.
That's all,
Settled.
You know. Okay. See, this guy's talking about picking zits and eating it. Don't do that. At
Don't
work.
do that,
We're not
yeah.
trying to tell you to do. We're not trying to tell. I'm not saying do gross things. I'm just trying to get to the
He's saying the
bottom
one,
of why we
the
think
nails.
what's wrong with fingernails and hair. Like when hair gets in your food and people like. There's so many people they'll get like a hair in their food and they go into a panic tailspin.
Yeah.
That fucking might as well call 911 and the FBI and report the company. For me, I'll fucking finish it. My daughter was just talking about the other day. I feel like I've taught her pretty well too. She was telling me the other day every time my wife makes avocado toast for her, she gets some hair in it, and she's just like, I just pick out the hair and just throw it to the side. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah.
Put a hair in there.
Put
So-
some hair in there, and then take it out.
Yeah. Just letting y'all know, I will eat Brett's fingernails, and if you guys agree.
What if you
so-
get hit by one though?
Here, I don't care. What? Oh God! Somebody got a fingernail on me. It's not even their toes, which I wouldn't mind then either.
Toenails. You're down with taking off socks and shit?
Fine with it. Wait, I saw somebody doing it at a gas station
The stink?
last summer, and I didn't care. In Tennessee, right on the counter. So, I am not rocking raw. I rock raw denim on stage, Carmen or Cameron. I'm gross though. I don't care. So anyway, That's all. I would like to hear your opinions on this. Maybe the next time we get a call-in show rolling, you can call in and tell me why this is a problem. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do anything with your fingernails if you mail them here, listeners. Let's take
now
a look
people are
at...
going to bring you Ziploc bags full of fingernails.
That would be the funniest thing that we could possibly get. I'll build a fucking... I'll tell you what. You mail me all your fucking fingernails, and I'll make macaroni art out of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, you should do some folk art or something.
I'm not
You
freaked
could
out by
build
him,
like
dude.
a castle out of fingernails.
I'm not freaked out by anything that comes from a human body except for
What about blood?
poop, pee, blood, and cum.
Okay,
Those are
that's-
only things I'm freaked out by. Those are all the gross things, though. That's all the boogers. I don't like boogers.
You don't
I
like
guess.
boogers?
No, I hate them. Oh, you know what makes me throw up sometimes?
What?
You breathe in and you like get a full dry booger in your throat
Uh-huh.
instead of a lug. I will fucking go off on the gag with that. I've had it happen in public where I'm just like, it's gross. So anyway, let's look at work-life balance.
Okay.
Because we like to read about that. We like to know what's going on with work-life balance, right?
Yeah, it's important.
This is the secrets of the most productive people from
Yay.
Fast Company. We need to stop striving for work-life balance. Here's
No,
why.
what?
Well, here's why I think we should. Because we should just get rid of the work part and just have life.
Yeah.
Recently, I received a question from a contact on LinkedIn. She asked me whether I thought work-life balance was dead. My answer? I hope so. Now, me too. I hope that too. Because I don't want to balance my work and my life. I want it to be completely unbalanced. Where my life is really heavy and the work is really small. That's the balance I want. I don't want it to be a 50-50 balance or anything like that. To be clear, I'm not advocating that you should give up your quest to have a fulfilling career and a thriving personal life, and I'm definitely not saying that you have to give up one to have the other. I also acknowledge that we have a work-life problem, but I'm arguing that the concept of balance has never been helpful because it's too limiting. You see, our language makes a difference, and how we refer to things matters because it affects our thinking and therefore our actions. My son is learning about linguistic determinism in school. Okay, well, fine. The idea is that the words we use shape how we think. So she's going into this whole Eskimos, which is a racist word anyway. They have different words for snow and who live in Norway, Sweden. So you might be wondering what's wrong with the word balance. Let's find out what's wrong with the word balance, Brett.
Okay.
That's what I'm curious about because I don't know. I don't really think I don't think she's going with the kind of balance we want, is what I'm trying to get at here. You might be wondering what's wrong with the word balance and what are these alternatives that supposedly help us frame the work-life problem better. Here are 3 compelling reasons. Work-life balance artificially separates work and life. Now,
Artificially.
yeah, they don't. This is all these. Every year, we get a story where they say, no, you blend your work into your life. It's more of a blend. 24 hours a day, you're working and you're off work. That's what we want from you. Well, 8 hours a day, you're specifically working.
Right.
And then the other 16 hours of the day, you're blending work in seamlessly into your life.
Right.
Because unless you're a person that writes a blog for a living, you have to go somewhere.
Yeah, you
For
have to
8
be there
hours.
on time.
Yeah, and they want you there. You can't
Right.
just blend. Like me and you, this is what I say this a lot. When it comes to work-life balance, me and you can have a fucked up work-life balance because our job fucking kicks ass and we get to have fun doing it. You know, part of our job is like getting high and having fun. So of course, there are going to be times where we're just like, I'll work, I don't care. You know,
Yeah.
I'm more willing to work it. Now, if my job was a real job, I would want a clear line of when I'm there and when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. It's not artificial either.
Yeah, no, a clear fucking line. The ideal world, we're all doing work that we're proud of, and that means meaning and purpose to us. But even if your job doesn't give you shivers of joy with each new day, working is a part of what each of us does and a contribution we make to society. Oh, I hate that fucking I hate contribution to society. When you separate work and life, it's a little bit harder to make that connection. But when you think of work as part of a full life and a holistic experience, it becomes easier to see that success success in one aspect often supports success in another. But again, you're talking about a dream world where we're all working our dream jobs.
Yeah.
And you're taking these concepts that we have to help us budget our time. Because work-life balance is kind of a good concept to budget your time.
Well,
in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, I mean, I've seen that a lot of younger people I know that have now moved up in the company and have said that they want to separation, like they get a pushback from their company.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, you know, they're like think it's odd that they don't sign up for emails after work and shit like that or aren't available. You know?
You're supposed to live the company
Right,
life
right.
24 hours a day is what they want. They
Right.
don't want you to, but like that's not useful to somebody who's not making $200,000.
Oh, right.
Or $250,000 a year. Like
For
that's
sure.
Not this kind of information is not useful for the people that work the most.
No, it's not
of the
where
people that
everybody's.
are
Yeah,
working.
most working life has anything to do with the balance or rethinking of how to work it in to your day.
Yeah, this stuff seems like it's so geared toward almost nobody.
You're at the whim of your employer.
Yes.
We're having a situation now where, well, Erica doesn't have a job, and it's like I have doctor's appointments that I really want to go to, and I'm already thinking about canceling that shit, and I'm just fucking furious about it. They're
Yeah.
like, their job was decided how we lived.
Yeah.
Now everything's different, you know?
Yeah, now the insurance.
Now I
is
can't
fucked.
get the health care that I was enjoying, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's more constructive. So work-life balance suggests a precariousness that isn't helpful. The truth is, there is a precariousness out there. This is bullshit. And every workplace is geared toward making you believe that it's a precarious situation. I feel. I don't know a lot of people who don't feel. If workplaces aren't geared toward making you feel like you're in a precarious situation, then why does most people I talk to feel like their job is in a precarious situation?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, definitely if you're doing hourly wage shit, they're always telling you that you can be fucking replaced, that
Right.
you're nobody.
So let's hear the explanation for this. Losing your balance and falling isn't pleasant. A goal to balance suggests that things are hanging in the balance or could quickly get off balance, and that causes terrible outcomes. That's not true at all. It's more constructive to think of solutions that continue to evolve over shifts in life and work. Rather than falling or failing, you may have good days or better days or not so good days. These variations are normal, and it's more useful to think of life as an always evolving and changing from day to day, year to year, rather than a high-risk enterprise where things could go wrong in one misstep. The thing is, most days probably won't look like an equilibrium. You might have to stay late at work and grab dinner on the way home one day, or skip your work retreat this year because it coincides with your parents being in town. And there's nothing wrong with either of these choices.
That's called balance. When you put both of those things on the scale, they fucking balance, dude.
She did just say balance. She just basically was like, yeah, balance it out, you know?
Yeah.
And nobody's saying, like,
I mean, if
well, my work-life balance is that I only work 8 hours every single day, and then I drive home and I spend the whole rest of the time with my family. Like, nobody's saying it. Like,
Yeah.
work-life balance for people who work for a living, like real jobs, is that I don't want to be doing this when I'm doing my life.
yeah.
The guy that called in at the end of the show one of the last
Right.
callers, said, my job isn't who I am.
Right.
My job is the thing I do to facilitate the things that make me. And if you don't have a work-life balance, your job is who you are.
Right. Right.
That's what they want you to be. They want your job to be who you are. And that's what she's kind of saying, which is, again, totally fine for me. My job being
It's
who
just-
I am is totally fine for me, but I have the most atypical job. I don't have a job that
This
just
is-
anybody can get.
It's so insidious too, because I think what it really comes down to is like, so if work asks more of you, then just go with it, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, that's going to be more often than you being able to blow off work.
Yes.
You know, they're not going to,
Yeah.
they're not going to understand when you're like, hey, I worked 70 hours this week, so I'm going to take a break, you know, this Friday. They're like, no, you're fucking not.
No, they never understand that.
No.
They never do. Like, you know, I've never seen my wife get her time back. Not a
Right.
single time. When she works these 60-hour weeks and stuff. I've never seen her get her fucking time back.
Right.
Or paid more. She didn't get paid more. She's just
Yeah.
on salary, and the next week they expect at least 40 hours out of her. Even though she worked 60 hours last week, she doesn't get to work a 20-hour week this week.
Yeah.
It's just not allowed. You know, and I've never seen anybody that is allowed to do that because they think of your job as week to week. You should be thinking these people are always telling you that you need to think of your job day to day, week to week, hour to hour, because if you don't think of them that way, you will fucking know that this isn't going to be your job for the rest of your life. And it's the reality for a lot of people out there that they don't keep, like most people now, we're conditioned to believe you're supposed to just keep getting different jobs.
Yeah.
And that starts you over at another pay scale. Like a lot of people, I mean, some people get a raise, but more often, or maybe not more often, but often, there's people getting a pay cut for more possibility at the next job. And you should be able to think about your job, if you want to, as this is my fucking thing. You know, I don't want to fuck this up. And this is going to be it. But they don't want you to do that. They never want you to think of your job as your thing for the rest of your life. I think that's horrible. Because there were just so many people, like when you talk about these golden days that these people think were happening, and you were able to get a job at the fucking plant and work there until you were fucking 62 or 55 if you saved right, and then you get to go and you don't have to go to the plant anymore and you just get your pension for the rest of your life. That I thought that was like the dream, really. I thought that was not. But I'm saying I thought that was the middle class that we were shooting. That's what that American dream middle class sort of thing is, that you get to go to you go to the phone company and you get to work there until you die, or until you get to the retirement, and then you get to retire. Right. That's not the reality. But that's because they never want you to think about your job as a thing that you get to keep. Your job is always like kind of, I'm fucking holding on to it at all time. I always call this job like climbing a slippery rope. It always just feels like, oh shit, tomorrow I can slide down and but not have anything. Work-life balance doesn't allow us to think big enough. Lastly, I think that everyone deserves more than just balance. Balance is a limiting concept. And if we set the bar too low, we won't demand enough of ourselves, our leaders, and our companies. Right now, too many companies are still operating in an either-or mentality, though thankfully it's starting to change. That's why there are several workplaces that penalize parents who choose to take parental leave, or assume that employees who don't put in as much face time aren't committed to their jobs. I always like the mantra that you can have it all, just not all at once. There are seasons of life where you'll have less time for yourself and will devote more to school or family or work. I mean, family is yourself, though. I tell you the truth. Yeah. Like, yourself isn't just one person that exists in a vacuum. Yourself is also like your partner, if you have a kid, your fucking pet, your grandma, your parents. Like, they should be considered part of you.
Right.
Like, I think, like, instead of sick days, it would be a much more useful thing that, like, a sick day isn't, if you thought of sick days as less for you and more for sickness. These are days designated to deal with sickness. First, you should get a lot more, because people do get sick. But that would be the way to think of sick days. But instead, our sick days are, oh, man, I just caught fucking the flu.
Well, you have to have doctor's proof that you're sick too, to use them.
Which somebody pointed out today is very classist, because there are a lot of people that just can't like afford to go to the doctor.
Yeah, maybe the places they're asking
working
for.
At Burger King and they don't. If your fucking workplace is asking for a doctor's note, they better have fucking health insurance.
Yeah,
you know. So when you think big, okay, so she says you can have it all, just not at once. There are reasons of life where you'll have less time for yourself, and when you think big and expect that you can have a positive experience with all that work and life have to offer, you'll be more likely to make that happen. See, this is bullshit to me. It's
not really that bad, I don't think.
It's not terrible.
It's just middle of the road. It's really not saying anything.
And it's really she's just talking about don't say these words anymore. But some of the stuff in here is the kind of ways that I don't like talking about work. And I do think work-life balance is I think it's useful, because I think it can be used for our side, I feel, in a way that saying it ebbs, like that this job, you're supposed to flow with the company. I want the company to like flow with me. I want my employment situation to flow with me like it does for us now.
Right.
You know? So I want to be able to make the decisions about where I end up. and shit like that. And I want to make the decisions of when I'm going to be on and off work and when I'm going to do things. And that doesn't mean that I get a lot of time off. I mean, we don't take days off doing this show. We never take days off. And it's because, you know, I have pride in what we do and I want to make sure that we always do these shows and shit. But I'm lucky in that, like, my work can be fully integrated into my life. And these people who have jobs like me that write these blogs, that are able to integrate their entire work with their life, that's fucking great for them. You know, and then it can flow in and out, and it doesn't matter. Your life outside of work is part of your work and shit like that. That's great. But for people that work normal jobs, it's useful to have a line of demarcation between work and your actual life, because you want people to be fully you want people to be actualized, and you can't be actualized if you're giving your whole all to the fucking phone company.
And that's the thing too, and that's why work-life balance became a thing, is because they've been encroaching on our family time with the phones and the emails and shit for, you know, decades now.
Yeah.
And that's why we get in trouble as a generation, because we're like, we don't want to fucking work all the time. And then old people are like, you're supposed to work all the time. And it's like, but we don't want to fucking work all the time. You know, we want to have our own life outside of this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, man. This is great. That was a fun show, Brett.
Thanks.
Somebody was watching it at work. They said, my work-life balance is great. I'm like, that's exactly the thing. Like, if... Again, if it's easy to integrate it, but I don't want people thinking like, oh, you know, maybe when I'm off and I think things are fucked up and I don't have anything to do, I should call my boss. I want them to like pick up a fucking violin and or something, or learn how to fucking or read a book or do anything that they would enjoy. You know, make some beats.
Is this person getting paid for this?
Yeah.
See, that's what's unfortunate, I think, is like someone takes a concept like, you should stand up for yourself and make time for your life and make sure that work doesn't consume everything you do. And someone takes that as a concept and goes, yeah, man, but like the way things work, it's like sometimes you'll be like working all the time and it's like, bro, that fucking sucks. But then other times, like, then you'll be like, I'm going on vacation with my family, and it's like, that fucking kicks ass. And then it's like, you know, you can never really say there's like a balance per se, because sometimes the scale's like tipped and shit. So it turns it into like this stupid, I just don't understand why you broke apart that concept to waste that time to write that.
Well, and if we started thinking about work-life balance for real, if we really started talking about this and being like, so I get 2 weeks to myself every year. There's 52 weeks a year, and I get 2 of them, and you get 50 of them. Doesn't seem fair.
I drive 45 minutes to get here back and forth, or have to take the bus to get here. It takes an hour each way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's late.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat also said, not only do we want to work less, but technology means that we don't need to work as much. That's Rosa Butzenberg. That's the name of the person.
Okay.
So, you know, and somebody in there saying 2-hour workday. You know, I agree with that, but Brett, he wants to keep it at 6. That's just his thing, you know.
Actually, I shared an article to the Facebook page. There was a company that went to 4-hour workdays, or 4-day work week, not 4-hour workday. 4-day work week. They kept the pay the same, and they said people ended up doing better at their jobs. Like, everything just got better.
Yeah, more efficient, because people weren't fucking stuck there miserable.
Right, because people weren't spending the most of their day like avoiding, like trying to look busy, you know.
Somebody just said take 3 hours off of every day. We got. Make an 8th non-business day between Wednesday and Thursday. I think that's a good idea. That's like second tax return.
A true hum day.
That's like second tax return, because one time I worked 4/10s, which is the optimum work schedule. If you have to do 40 hours a week in a real job, 4/10s. Always go for 4/10s if you can get it. But my 4/10s were different than everybody else's 4/10s, who put their days off on Friday or Monday. I put mine off on Wednesday. Never worked 2 days in a row. It was the happiest I'd ever been at a job. And then they changed it, of course, and they took it all away from me and made me come in 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday that is the work schedule. Because then Friday still kicks ass. You know? Because you have to. Here's the thing people don't understand about Friday. You have to work on Friday for Friday to be the best day of the week, right? For
Yeah.
me, Friday's my favorite day because
It's like getting let out of the cage.
yeah. Friday's my favorite day because it's the I don't
Everybody
work,
else gets out of their cage.
right, and I don't work Fridays or Mondays. Those are the 2 days I choose not to do anything that has to do with work. So I love Friday, but I always felt that I needed to work on Friday. Then when you get off, that's the most prime time of the week. 'Cause Saturday, it's like, just by the end of the day when you're drinking and getting fucked up, you're like, I didn't earn this. You know, I didn't do anything today. I'm just sitting around all day. I fucking sat and watched Pawn Stars all day.
Right,
and
right.
now
You're
I'm
like,
out here
damn,
partying.
fuck, I had a whole day. I wanted to do something. What did I want to do again? Oh, life. Damn it.
You're out at the bar. You're fucking shit faced. You're about to do some sniz in the bathroom. That's what I call coke now, sniz. And you're in the bathroom and you're just like, you know, I didn't do shit today, really. And I'm celebrating. What am I celebrating? Nothing, you know. But I like it anyway. I love days off. Give me a day off. So, thanks. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening, all the people in the chat room. Hey, look at my shirt. Listen to this podcast. It's a good show. Cool shirt. You can get on Pro Wrestling Tees. I love Struggle Session. They're my fave boys.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. If you want to support what we do, you can do that over on patreon.com/Street Fight Radio. Get access to our exclusive zine. Get access to exclusive shows, videos, and all of that. That's the place to be. We also have a Discord, a Facebook group, and that's the only private things we got going on. There's a bunch of splinter Facebook groups now too, so get a hold of us, send me a message or whatever it is. If you enjoy the show and you can't sign up for a recurring donation and maybe you're getting your tax return soon, keep us in mind. You can Venmo us at Street Fight Radio for that one-time purchase, one-time donation. We truly appreciate it. If you want to support the show with a purchase, we got t-shirts available. An injury to Gumball is an injury to all, and Gumball is a stupid asshole. And then I also have the Lonnie Tunes shirt still available with the bugs and Taz and everything. So store.streetfightradio.com. There's also a bunch of back issues of the zines available. And we will continue this thing. We're going to be, this Sunday, Brian has a concert. I might be taking your calls. I'll notify you and let you know. If you want me to take your calls, let me know. I need to be gassed up a little bit about it because I'm not thinking that people want to call and talk to me.
Yeah, we got some shit to do too. So we might do something this weekend.
Okay. Oh yeah, you were talking about Saturday.
Yeah, we might do something Saturday.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe we'll do Pump Up the Volume with our wives.
Okay, interesting. I like that.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah,
to you?
let's do that.
We'll see if we can get them on board because
All right.
they'd have fun. They
Yeah.
would love to see what kind of thing made little Brian want to do radio.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening. We're Street Fight. Peace.
Hey, are we still on, Jason, on the stream? I will hit you up. I'm thinking of going to Phoenix. I might be going to Phoenix twice in the next couple months. So, if I'm in Phoenix. Also, I'm going to say this right now, and this isn't going to go out on the podcast or anything, but if you're in California and you would like to do me a favor, I would love that if you could do that. Bye.